Some cases are so disturbing that even investigators, doctors, and judges struggle to speak about them without breaking down. This is one of those cases. Today's story is not just about a murdered child, it's about a system that failed again and again until it was too late. This is the heartbreaking case of Gabriel Fernandez. Gabriel Fernandez was born on February 12, 2005, in Palmdale, California. From the moment he entered the world, his life was marked by instability. His mother, Pearl Fernandez, struggled with substance abuse, violence, and neglect. His father, Arnold Contreras, was largely absent. For the first few years of his life, Gabriel lived with relatives who genuinely cared for him, especially his great uncle and great aunt. During that time, Gabriel was described as happy, playful, polite, and affectionate. Teachers later said he was the kind of child who just wanted to be loved. But in 2012, everything changed. Pearl regained custody of Gabriel, and that decision would ultimately cost Gabriel his life. Once Gabriel moved in with his mother and her boyfriend Isauro Aguirre, the abuse began almost immediately. What happened inside that home was systematic, intentional torture. Gabriel was beaten daily with belts, cords, bats, and metal objects, shot with a BB gun, leaving pellets embedded in his body, burned with cigarettes, forced to eat cat litter, cat feces, and spoiled food, starved for long periods, locked inside a small cabinet for hours and sometimes overnight, duct taped, gagged, and bound. Isauro Aguirre would punch and kick him repeatedly, targeting his face, ribs, and stomach. Pearl Fernandez did not protect her son, she participated. Even worse, Gabriel was emotionally humiliated. Pearl allegedly punished him for being gay, forced him to wear girls' clothes, and telling him he was worthless and evil. Neighbors later said they heard screaming. Other children in the home witnessed the abuse, but fear and threats kept everyone silent. Gabriel's injuries were impossible to hide. At school, teachers noticed bruises covering his face and body, missing patches of hair, swollen lips, and broken teeth. In one of the most heartbreaking moments of this case, Gabriel wrote a note at school that read, "I'm sad." Teachers, school staff, and medical professionals reported the abuse repeatedly to Los Angeles County Child Protective Services, DCFS. In total, there were over 60 documented reports. Social workers visited the home and accepted Pearl's explanations. Police were called and left without action. Medical professionals raised alarms and were ignored. Gabriel was begging for help, but no one saved him. On May 22, 2013, the abuse reached its fatal end. Isauro Aguirre beat Gabriel so severely that his skull fractured, his ribs broke, his internal organs were damaged. He collapsed unconscious. Instead of calling for help, Pearl and Isauro waited. By the time emergency services were called, it was too late. Gabriel was 8 years old. Doctors later said his body showed injuries in every stage of healing, proof that this was long-term torture, not an isolated incident. The autopsy revealed a fractured skull, broken ribs, BB pellets inside his body, missing teeth, severe internal bleeding. Isauro Aguirre was convicted of first-degree murder with special circumstances, sentenced to death, later converted to life without parole. Pearl Fernandez pleaded guilty to first-degree murder and child abuse, receiving life in prison without parole. But the case didn't end there. 4 social workers and supervisors were criminally charged for child abuse and falsifying records, a rare and historic move meant to hold the system accountable. Though their convictions were later overturned, the message was clear. The system failed Gabriel Fernandez. Gabriel should have grown up. He should have felt safe. He should have been protected. Instead, he became a symbol not just of cruelty, but of institutional failure. His story led to reforms, new training protocols, and renewed discussions about child welfare oversight. But none of that brings Gabriel back. The moral of Gabriel Fernandez's story is devastatingly clear. When abuse is reported and ignored, silence becomes violence. Protecting children is not optional. Believing them is not optional. Acting is not optional. Because when adults fail, children pay the price. That's it for today. Thanks for watching.